just picked some Swiss chard and I've got an overabundance. I'm going to show you how I freeze it. I'm going to be freezing some of it as whole leaves and some of it as chopped. I use the chopped in my beans and greens and soups, and the whole leaves I make little rice roll-ups. First off, I wash off the leaves in case there's just any little bugs or dirt that got on it. I did not spray it with pesticides, but I still like to rinse it off. For any of the Swiss chard that I'm chopping up, I like to remove the stem, and this is how I do it. I fold it in half, then I just cut down. I save the stem for later. If I want this to be whole for my little rice roll-ups, I'm just going to take off the bottom stem. This is going to be for the whole leaf, so I'm just taking off the stems, and I will be saving them and using them later. Now the water is boiling hot, and I am going to put my leaves in here and just steam it until they are wilted. While the leaves are steaming, I wanted to show you this that I had picked a couple days ago, and I had already removed all of the stems and I chopped them up and used them in a different dish. So this is how I store it, and it will last in my fridge for a couple days. I just wash it off, pat it dry, and then I put it in an airtight container with a towel in between it every so often. While it's steaming, I'm also going to chop up my stems, and these will get steamed and they will go in with the chopped kale. The full leaves are wilted. I'm going to drain them a little bit. Then I'm going to dump them into a water bath. What I want to do is stop the cooking quickly. So I'll just gently push it down. These leaves are delicate, so just be gentle with them. When I feel all the heat is out of them, I will take them out of the water and dry them a little bit. They are cooled, so I'm going to carefully open them up and I'm laying them down. I want to get them flat, and I'm going to want to get the water off of them before I freeze them. This might look tedious, but it's not really that bad. Shake off the water if you can. I'll come back on camera when I have these all laid out. I now have them all laid out and I am drying them. Next, I'll show you how I roll them up. I get a long piece of plastic wrap. I'm going to put down a piece of paper towel. Then I'm going to put down one of my leaves and make sure you have it fairly spread out. And now I'm going to take another piece of paper towel and I will just keep layering them. You could use fabric or cheesecloth, but I want to make sure that when I'm thawing these, they're not all sticking together, and I'll be able to make my wraps. Also, with my wrap, I will just thaw them and wrap them up. They won't need cooked any longer. And I am usually only making about 6 of these rolls at a time. Try to open the leaves up for yourself. Since I'm only doing about 6 at a time, that's all that I'm putting in my package. Now I'm getting ready to roll them up. Keep the edges of the plastic wrap open so that you can seal up the rolls that you're making. And take the end of it and pull it tight so it seals. Then I'll fold that over. There you go. I'll make another one with you. Looks like I can put 2 leaves on here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to save this one. Oh, looks like I can. There you have it. Roll it up again. I'm rolling it tightly, keeping the edges of the plastic wrap out. There you have it. Next, I'll label it. here they are labeled and ready to pop in the freezer. I'm getting ready to do the chopped Swiss chard. Get some jars clean, get some lids that you want to put on them. Time to chop your Swiss chard. Now, if you were doing your whole batch at one time, you would have way more stems, but this was just the little bit that I had from making the whole leaves. The stems from here I had already cooked and used. Now I'm going to chop this up, and I have no idea how many jars I'm going to get. These are 1 cup jars, but this just wilts down so much, so we'll find out. Put your chopped Swiss chard. I'm using a steaming basket. I'm going to continue chopping this until I have my entire container chopped up. And it was one of these containers, so it was full, just to give you an idea of the quantity I started with. My water is bubbly, so I'm going to put my steaming basket in. I'm going to put my stems in, cover this up, and let it cook probably just 2 minutes. I'll have to keep checking to see when it has wilted. It was only 1 minute, and this is wilted as much as I would like. I'm going to drain it, and I'm going to turn the bottom part into my water bath. Since this is all chopped, I'm using the steamer basket to cool it so I don't have to pick all of that chopped Swiss chard out of my ice bath. And just press it down a little bit, and we're gonna keep checking it until it's fully cooled. It's not gonna take long, maybe a minute or 2. I'm checking it, it's all cool, so I'm gonna drain it. This does not have to be squeeze dried like the leaves were. So I'm just packing it in there by hand. The next thing I'm doing is I'm putting some of those stems on top, because if this is in soup or beans and greens, those taste good and they look nice. They add some texture. Also, if you're making a smoothie, they'll just blend up. So I'm just pushing it down a little bit, and then I'm putting on these jar lids. They are not like a canning lid, but they will seal it while it's in the freezer. So I'm going to dry off the top, and I have some labels that I'll put on because I might not remember what it is when I try to pull it out of the freezer. So that great big container yielded 3 1-cup jars. Well, there you have it. It's all jarred up and rolled up for the freezer. I hope you like this video, and I hope that you'll come next week, and may God's richest blessings be with you.